The team at the Bryant Family Medicine All Sports Media wants to take the time to thank our sponsors, Bryant Family Medicine and Heather Martinez Realtor. We also want to thank our support staff, Valerie Rutherford, Allison Messer, Larry Spicer, Addison Sloan, John North, Shane Shackelford, and last but not least, Keisha Ambergy. With the support of our fine sponsors, our dedicated staff, and you, the members, we are all working on one goal, the promotion of student athletes. With this team, we can't miss.
Welcome to the Wednesday Sports Talk Show, hosted by Edward Hall and co-hosted by Mark Gregory. Edward's got a good show put together for us again tonight, which he always does. Looks like he's got Cooper Brock from Bell County and Harmony Richardson from Casey County, I believe. Can't wait to get this show started. Two super guests and two guests is playing at the top of their levels. I am sure that Edward's going to sit here for about 10 minutes. So well, it took me 10 minutes to do the sharing process. But after Ryan did it like 0.222 seconds, and Ryan's like, Edward, this is how it's done, and got it done. But
I can
why?
do that too if I use my phone. But that's what I do the show on.
But that's your story. That's his story, folks. But while he's doing the sharing and carrying stuff,
it's already done with. I got tired of waiting on you.
Okay. But Edward, how are you doing?
Well, it's a Wednesday, so halfway through the work week right now, but got to get out. Since we actually got to have a little bit of decent weather yesterday and got to cover some pretty good little softball action yesterday.
Yeah, I've not been able to get out yet. Hopefully, I'm able to do something Friday night. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, Friday, hopefully, if work allows and I can get off in time, I plan on trying to make it to the Bell County Knox Central game because I think that'll be, a game for the ages right there. So I think that'll be a pretty good little game because they played pretty close the beginning part of the year. So that's my intentions. It is a 5 o'clock game, and getting off at 4:30 might put a little rush in there. So what's your plans, Mark?
Like right now, Friday is the is my goal. I know I've got a tennis trip, and hopefully, uh, I've got time before I have to haul the youngsters back that I'm able to do a little bit of coverage, maybe a couple of interviews, some pictures, stuff like that. And I might even try to talk a couple of them maybe coming on to the Sunday show. I don't think we've had any tennis players on yet on our shows. I think it'd be a fun interview just get to know the game of tennis a little bit better. I feel like I know it pretty good. Rod, of course, he's played it 4 years, I believe. So Rod probably knows it inside and out. And I'm excited to just see what will come out of that.
Absolutely. So we got a few minutes before our first guest comes on, and I just got the okay from Nevaeh's photography. She sent me some pictures to use to be able to make Cooper's graphics with. So after the show, I will be putting them together, and they will be posted on the pages and sent to him. And if for everybody watching, if you haven't seen the photos that this young lady's taking, and she's also a student athlete herself. You need to go check out Nevaeh's photography because she takes some amazing photos.
Uh, Send me that link to her photographer page. I'll go over there and like it. I, um, I've seen some of her work where other people shared it, this and that. Yeah, I definitely like to go to that page.
Absolutely, I'll do it. So while we're waiting, we still got a few minutes. I think we're going to start off a little different this time. The top 10 statewide rankings will be released on Saturday. So I'm thinking about releasing those on Saturdays moving forward. That way they have a full week's worth of games put in, and that way it can go from like Saturday to Saturday instead of like a Wednesday to Wednesday kind of thing. But so on that note, we're going to go over, look at the top 5 must see here, Mark. And I was on the talk of baseball. Well, we'll just go ahead and just jump right into that. So your Bryant Family Medicine All Sports Media Top 5 Must See for 4/23/2025 is Trenton Morris from Male with a 1.53 ERA. And for everybody that actually follows the Top 5 Must See, yeah, his ERA did go up some, but also you have to look at the level of competition that this young man did just go through. And then you got Landon from Woodford County with a .38 ERA. Then you got Talon Markham from Clay County with 24 RBIs and 3 home runs. And if I'm not mistaken, the white and the white pants are kind of blurring in together, but it looks like it's EJ Allen from Whitley County with a .77 ERA. And then you got Eli Fryer from Harlan with 16 RBIs, Mark.
Yeah, you always do a really, really good job at putting these lists together. And, you know, I've seen a couple of these firsthand, and I've got I got to go to, of course, EJ Allen right here from Whitley County. And I also think I read a stat somewhere. And Edward, you might want to look this up, but I believe Whitley County as a team might be leading the state in earned run average, and or they're right up there on the tops of it. And that pitching staff is phenomenal, and not just only the district that they play in. It's we know about the 13th region as a whole, and like what against you got all played Whitley County really, really tough. Bell County was right there with them the whole game. Shows you how strong the 13th region is. But I'm telling you, Whitley County's got a really, really good product. And EJ right there is a big reason why. And I tell you what's really scary about Whitley County, especially when they could put on a mound an eighth grade pitcher that has pitched big games for them already this year, and there's not too many teams that could say that.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong there, but now you was saying earned run average as a team or
Yeah,
individual?
team. I believe that they're right up there at the state leaders. But I seen
Well,
that last week. I don't know if that's changed since, but
actually, this is from the KHS AA. This is their weekly stats that they put out, and this is the updated version for this week. It is showing Whitley County with a 1.15 ERA, which has got them sitting as a team at the 1 spot.
yes, that's what I had noticed. And Edward, this ain't against shabby competition. This team has played Paul Dunbar. They have played Madison Central. They have played out of state teams. They have played Corbin twice, South Laurel twice. These are heavy hitters. And to have that kind of ERA, just phenomenal.
Absolutely. So while we're on the talk of ERA, we're going to move over to the softball side and go over the top five on hit. And Mark, you might have seen a player or two of these here. You got Macy from Rockcastle with 17 RBIs and 4 home runs. Harmony Richardson from Casey County with 115 strikeouts and 3 home runs. Rachel Howard from Pineville with a .48 ERA. Sage McClure from North Laurel with 34 RBIs and 4 home runs. Then you got Molly from Belfry with 101 strikeouts and 14 RBIs.
When you're scrolling through Facebook, you might be on break. You're just slamming it real quick. About the end of the break. Again, I seen something about Sage McClure too. She is lead the state or pretty close to it in something, and I know what kind of a ball player Sage McClure is. Uh, I swear I don't think that there's nobody in the state of Kentucky that she can't knock a homer on or ring it right off the wall. I've seen it state tournament last year. There was nobody that she couldn't get a hit on last year. And I think she started playing the shortstop position last year. Of course, they had a great one in Emily Sizemore that graduated. So she moved into the shortstop position last year. I believe that's what she had told me. And now just playing it at the top level, and just absolutely every ball hit her way. She catches. Uh, I'm telling you, North Laurel's the real deal, folks. Seen them firsthand a few weeks ago, tooth and nail Assumption, and it's hard not to look at that team and say that team's really good, really good. And another name on there that I cannot go by without talking a little bit about Rachel Howard. Love her family, great people down there at Pineville. Uh, you know, when we started this whole baseball and softball stuff, you know, trying to get it going on some of the social media networks, and with another affiliation we had, Edward. Uh, Rachel, I remember, was probably one of my first interviews in baseball, softball, and I think at that point in time she might have been reaching like her 500 strikeout or something like that. And I just remember all the things that her and her family did about helping us getting the pages going, and it just they worked as hard for us as as they worked on the field too, and and just seeing Rachel grow into the person she is now, and just that's a mean machine down there, Pavel, and you know that firsthand, Edward. You've covered them a lot. That's a team not to look past.
Absolutely. And talking about Sage, she was, if I'm not mistaken, number 17 in the state in RBIs. And then Rachel Howard is number 3 in the state with earned run average.
Yep.
So that lets what the 13th region's holding, because Rachel Howard is also number 11 in the state for strikeouts. And then you got Kenzie Williams, which is also number 8 in the state in strikeouts. Then you have Candace Williams, which is number 7 in the state for strikeouts.
This district's so loaded in baseball and softball both. It's unreal, man. And I'm telling you, we've even got in other sports, Edward. I'm telling you, and one thing, I don't want to put a curveball to you that I'm trying to reach out to her, and hopefully me or you, either one, can get her on the show pretty quickly. But I just got to give this shout out right here. Gracie Hoskins out of South Laurel. If I'm seeing this right, I think she broke like maybe a 300 meter hurdle school record, maybe a 500 meters hurdle school record. Then she turned around and breaks a long jump record. Uh, I mean, how many more records? This is crazy. The athletes, not just only baseball and softball, what we're seeing in track, basketball, football, it's just crazy. These athletes. There's a girl out of Harlan County that just absolutely broke a long jump record too. Maybe a Maddie Middleton. I'm taking her off the top of my head. Just you're just seeing these records get shattered right now.
Absolutely. That like compared to the athletes in my time, the student athletes today are just so much more athletic and everything compared to what we was back in my day. We just a bunch of old hoagies now. So
That term "bigger, stronger, faster" definitely hold true for sure right now. And back to baseball. I'm telling you, we got some really good softball teams out there, and I believe Jackson County goes on the Wednesday all way in the 13th region, and I don't know exactly when they start their stuff up, but good luck to them. Jackson County boys, I believe, won the all way in baseball. That would be a good stat to try to look up. Has that ever happened for Jackson County to win the all way in both, baseball and softball like that? But that's a big statement for Jackson County out there. Congratulations to them folks out there. We know you've covered the baseball team. You know what they're holding. I think you had a few guests with them. And of course, we know what Candace Williams and that bunch out there, the softball bunch, has got. The I would say the rifleman, but she's a young lady. I guess the rifle woman. I guess we'll call her that. But just hoses them down by east to west. And I'm telling you, Jackson County's another one of them teams. Don't look past. I'm telling you, they're really good. And it's amazing. Just we could talk about the talent in the 13th region for 3.5 months, and like I said, we got a young lady at South Laurel that's crushing school records east and west like nothing. It's unreal.
absolutely, and one of our first guests just messaged me and said that he is running just a little bit late, so he will be here, but just gotta bear with him just a little bit. But while you're talking about records and everything, I'm pretty sure we just had. I think it's been a couple weeks ago that we had somebody on from track that said that their goal is to break the record that they just set.
Mm-hmm.
That they always try to break their personal best, whatever it is. Every time they step out, they try to do it better.
You know, it takes a lot of work in track too, and just the multiple things. Like in track, you've got all the different stuff that you have to do, and I'm sure that they've got certain athletes that specialize more in a certain event than others, but there's just so much that you can do in track and field. It just and again, like I said, what Gracie's doing down there at South Laurel, uh, anyway, we got to get her on one of her shows. I'm gonna, I'm making that a route. I'm gonna make that the core that we've got to bring her on because again, we're doing the whole track and field coverage still, and yeah, Does that happen regularly, or is this girl just breaking doors out? That's just not the norm.
Well, I mean, I'd like to say it's not the norm, but you're seeing it everywhere that these student athletes are shattering, school records left and right. So I mean, it just shows that the work and dedication that they put into it.
Yeah, and and we've said it since we started this whole thing. These young ladies, these young men, in these other sports work just as hard as the big three, if you want to call them that. The football, basketball, baseball. They're putting the same amount of effort. They want to win, succeed in that sport. I'm telling you, these sports are rising. They're on the rise. You know, Here in this country, of course, it's basketball, football, baseball, stuff like that. But worldwide, when you start talking worldwide, soccer is the biggest sport in the world, and that's a sport that's catching fire here in this country. Maybe not as much on the men's side, but on the women's side, we see what our American women do every year. Winning the World Cup, winning the Olympics, just dominates the world. And I'm sure that a lot of these young ladies in high school, they have to see what the American women and stuff are doing. There has to be a little bit of motivation for them.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, well, it would have to be motivation, but not only motivation, but from what they see, that I might say that adds a little bit to the passion and fire that they already have for the sport. But it takes the love of the sport, and it also takes you know dedication and the work that they have to put in. So that's why I leave every show with the same note saying that these young student athletes would love to see everybody pack their stadiums, regardless what sport it is, where it's at. That they'd love to see the stands completely full with nothing but stand up room. If everybody's sitting there cheering them on, that they'd love to see everybody out there.
Well, you're absolutely right. Just the home field advantage, stuff like that. Just of course, you want people yelling and hollering, cheering you on for sure. And of course, Edward has left the building like always, and left me with this show all by myself. But nah, he'll be back. I'm sure that there's a thing called a internet hiccup or something like that going on. But uh, while we're waiting for Edward to come back,
And
um,
spell.
are you back?
Yeah, I took one of them marked 45-minute hacking spell.
But a little bit of a change of subject. I'm not gonna let the cat out of the bag, but I want to talk a little bit about the Sunday coming up for us. Of course, we took off Easter, for families to be together. We'll be hitting again Sunday. I've reached out to a few guests already. We're this close, so I'm not saying signing because we don't pay nobody, but might be adding an extra addition to the family. Might be doing a little bit of co-hosting for the Sunday show, and also maybe some on the Wednesday show at times too. But it's just I knew, it's something that Edward started, and we all love Coffee and Edward, and but Ryan will tell you that firsthand. We love Coffee and Edward, so I'm sort of copycat what Edward did last year, and I will just say this: it's a student athlete that we're going to bring on, and just run with it and see what comes out of it, because anything to make it more fun, or I think it's worth it.
Absolutely. And, I, s- I done that, you know, last season and through a couple other sports also. I done it because, one, I thought it would be a breath of fresh air for some of the student athletes to be actually getting interviewed by a student athlete that, they have probably played against at some point in time. So, that allows, I guess you would say, the interviewed to become the interviewer.
Mm. And, and and to a point, it probably gives him a little bit more of a better understanding too about, uh, we know for fact what they do ain't easy. But, honestly, what we do up here ain't easy either. And I sort of stepped out my boundaries there to say a little bit myself. And I sort of understand, why some of the student athletes could, they're saying, well, I'm a little nervous about coming on. Because I'd be lying to you if I told you I wasn't nervous the other night whenever I tried to step out my little comfort zone a little bit, do something I hadn't did. And but hats off to them that decided to do that, and hats off to possibly a new co-host that that's willing to step out of uh, their boundary, and hopefully we'll be making a introduction pretty soon on that.
Absolutely. That's something that we do tell, a lot of the outer region student athletes that we bring on because, some of them don't get the media coverage that they deserve. So that, this is something that some of them's not used to. So, that's why we are like we are to try to kind of make it a little bit more easy going.
Yep. But while we're waiting for our guests, I guess we got a little bit of he's running a little late, and hopefully we can get him on pretty soon. While we're waiting for him, I, I want to talk, if it's okay with you, Edward. I'd like to talk a little bit of Kentucky basketball and some of the stuff that's happening there. This portal stuff's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Trent Noah, I guess, is staying. Perry decided to leave. I understand it. He was hoping that the Kentucky boys would stay, but I understand the reason why they leave. I hope Trent stays. I think Trent's all in for Kentucky, but I'm telling you, this NIL stuff, it's out of hand.
Yeah, we've talked about that, behind the scenes. I agree that, the athletes do need to get something because, having to spend all the time trying to go to school plus practice plus games, stuff like that, don't leave them a whole lot of time. But the NIL has made, the college sports world get turned upside down.
Yeah, and I like Kentucky's roster. I think the most solid roster I've seen across the board for what anybody's put together. Does that mean national championship? No. Best team to always win in basketball. Edward, you know that. It just takes one guy that's hit 15 threes that can't miss, and game over. I mean, it does. It just like CBS always has, for the after the national championship, that song "One Shining Moment," and that's what it takes to win that national championship basketball. You just have to have that one moment that you can't miss. That you're just playing as good as you've ever played in your life, and you're bringing home the hardware. And but now it's hard not to get excited about Kentucky basketball.
Well, we got a couple minutes before our second guest will be on here. So while you've been talking, I've actually been looking at a little bit of the KHSAA stat leaders. And I'm gonna throw you one out here. It's batting average, and sitting at the 8th spot is Luke Hillard from Barville with a .574 batting average.
Yeah, and we had him on a week or so ago, and I think it was hovering around 600 then. Cause I mean that's unreal. Again, these numbers are unreal. I mean, when you see Luke come up to bat, if you're a pitcher, do you pitch to him or do you pitch around him? I mean that eventually coaches is going to start looking at that, and I know that Marvel's got plenty of power behind that, but it just again, do you start saying we're not gonna pitch this guy? Then he starts to become the walk leader.
Absolutely. So you have number 16 in the state in home runs is Noah Sima from Corbin with 4 home runs.
And Noah's been doing it for a long time. I'm not saying he's an old man, but that's a name you've heard for quite a long time. Been there, done it. Been playing at the top of his game for a long time, and him and Cade, they've got something special down there in Corbin.
And then in baseball and doubles, you've got Luke Hillard from Barville at number 2 in the state with 13 doubles. Number 2 in the state. So not only is he top 10 in batting average, he is also number 2 in the state in doubles. So now it goes back to do you keep pitching to him or do you pitch around him?
I mean, it's pretty obvious the decisions you have to make there.
And then number 17 in the state in slugging percentage is also Luke Hillard with a .915.
And why was I out thinking that you was fixing to say that? I mean, and probably the one who's probably he mows the grass for him and probably paints the bill.
Number 3 in RBIs in the state is Luke Hillard from Barville with 27 RBIs.
The year that this guy is having is unreal, and when you're talking underrated players, this is a guy that's absolutely not getting enough attention that he deserves. And wow, and Edward, he's got a few more years left too, if I'm thinking correctly.
I'm pretty sure you're correct.
I mean, it's unreal that somebody as young as him performing at the level that he is at this point in time. I mean, goodness, again, we're talking about athletes that are doing it at the highest level. And right here it says he's a sophomore. So, imagine this bigger, stronger, faster when it starts hitting on him.
All right. Well, Mark, are you ready for our first guest?
I believe so. We've rattled enough to where I feel about horse right now. Maybe somebody else will talk about.
Hello.
Well, Cooper, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, I'm sorry about being so late. Church ran a little over today.
You are completely fine. So, first off, before Mark hit you up there, I just want to ask you how your thoughts on your season so far.
It's going pretty good. The record's not really what we want it to be as of right now. We've beat ourselves in a lot of games lately, especially at the start of the year against some good teams. But I think we're starting to come to our own. Just got off of 2 wins, Monday and Tuesday against Harlan County. I think we're really starting to play more together, stringing our hits together more. So I'm not as happy with how much we've lost. We haven't lost a lot, but I think we should be perfect right now. But I'm excited to see where it's going because I think we're gonna surprise a lot of people, especially when it comes to playoff time. So I'm excited.
Absolutely. And, I do plan on trying to make it up there Friday to get the coverings. And I did get the okay from Nevaeh's photography. She sent me some photos. So after the show is over with, I will be putting together a couple graphics for you, and I'll get them sent over to you. And they will also be posted on every one of our social media sites. And I have to say, she takes some outstanding photos.
Yeah,
So,
they are pretty good.
but Mark,
Cooper, thank you for coming on. I know there's a thing called school and life and all that stuff that's going on with you right now. Um, Last time I seen Jens firsthand was way early in the season, and maybe one of the longest games I ever tried to sit through in my whole entire life.
Oh, Whitley.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was just a game I just didn't think was ever going to get over. I wind up again. My better half was like starving to death, and I wind up having to leave around the 10th inning. And I got home, and Ryan and Edward was watching on the game changer. Like, it went to the 11th. We went to the like, all right, this game is never going to end. I thought that they might have been a rule that I guess you call it after so long, but I guess it's like the 2-A thing. I guess it had to play itself out.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think that's what it was. I don't think you're allowed to. Yeah, I don't think you're allowed to start an inning past 9 o'clock. But I think where it was a tournament, there was no way to make up the game, so we just had to play it out. It was fun though. It's definitely one of the longest games I've ever been a part of.
yeah,
Uh, Even watching like MLB games and stuff, that felt longer. I mean,
yeah,
it's a long haul. I mean, 12 innings hitting, fielding, pitching. I pitched some of that game. It was a long haul. It was a lot of fun.
yeah. And I do remember that night too. It was cold and just damp and dreary
Yeah.
and just it wasn't a baseball night at all. It's like, but
It started off all right, and then that sun went down. It got cold and wasn't amazing. I'll say that.
But Cooper, I know that your team wants to win, and I know Yins ain't about it's a moral victory. I know a win's a win, a loss is a loss. I know that Yins come to win, and I'm not saying anything, but how does a game like that prep you for the rest of the year? Because you know what Whitley has been doing the last few years, 2 years out from a state championship, and then you know that you played. You was right with them the whole game. I mean, do you just leave out there for confidence, or did you just leave out there like, we had this sort of deal?
A little bit of both. You obviously you don't want to lose, like you
Yeah,
said, and it's a tough loss because I mean they are such a good team, and and while they've been good, I'll say Bell County's been pretty bad. Like my freshman 8th grade year, pretty bad, just where we were so young.
yeah,
But we're kind of growing into our own here. We got a lot of juniors, seniors, a lot of people coming up, and playing them like that, it it made me excited for the rest of the year for sure. Because I mean, it shows that we can play with the best of the best, especially in our region. But I think it drug me down pretty hard. It was just a tough one. You battle it out 12 innings, and then
mm,
you lose it in the end. It's always hard, but it gave me a lot of confidence for this year, and I'm glad that we're finally kind of growing into the confidence that I had coming out of that game.
Well, a couple more things about that. And I'll shut up about that. But leaving that late that night, did you stop and eat, or did you just like we got to get back home? What sort of deal?
I ended up going back home with my parents. Had to get gas, of course. That'd be the night. That'd be the night you got to get gas, and we had to make a few stops. But I don't know what they did. I think they went and ate something. But I'd like to say I got home around 11 or 12 myself. It was a late night that night.
And just for the record, too, and Cooper, I know you can correct me on this, and I believe even after that game, there's another game that's going to play right after you. I believe McQuarrie Central and Harlan
Yeah.
County
Yep.
was like waiting for you to get done, and I do specifically remember McQuarrie Central got there about the same time I did, about around 6 o'clock or so.
Yeah,
Well,
they
them guys,
stayed. Man, I couldn't have done that. I mean, they got there while our game was going on. Our game lasted, I don't know how long, honestly. I mean, it was. I feel bad for them because they had to play middle of the night, but baseball's fun anytime.
so was that the longest game you'd ever been a part of?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, travel ball has a time limit, and I mean, you don't really see a lot of games go past. Well, you don't see a lot of games go past 7, but I mean, going past 10 innings, and I mean, by far the longest game I've ever played.
Well, Edward, he looks at a lot of stats and stuff like that, but looking at the schedule, he's had some pretty good wins here recently. It's hard not to look at the two Harlan County wins and what Coach Bailey's built down there at Harlan County. That's two really, really nice good wins for you. And plus, that probably puts you in a pretty good seat, come district time also. So that's really good wins for you. And just I know Edward was really, really high on you last year. You kept speaking like this team's coming, this team's coming, and again, Edward's right again. It's proven this year. And again, thank you for coming on. I know Edward has got probably 100 questions for you, but just keep on keeping on. And good luck to your Bill K Bobcats.
Thank you very much.
So, Cooper, I do got a couple questions for you myself because I know I'm sure you had a great service at church today.
Absolutely, it was. We got a nice youth group up here, and got some good youth pastors that bring the word.
Absolutely. My little girls go to. I'll get it right here in a second. I know it's right across from Family Dollar right here in Middlesboro, but I don't remember the name. I just always just drive there and we go in there.
Old Yellow Creek Church, maybe, or right on Cumberland
Maybe.
Avenue.
Right on Cumberland Avenue, next to where it used to be the old First State Bank. I think it's First Christian, maybe.
Yeah, First Christian something. I know what you're talking about, though. That's a beautiful place.
That's where we go. That's where we go ourselves. And but talking about stats, I got to ask you, what did you do in the off season to get yourself prepared for this season?
Well, a lot of time in the cage, weight room, a lot of training, and I'm fortunate enough to play a lot of travel ball, and going down to Georgia and Alabama and places like that. It's really different down there. I mean, they just got a lot of dudes that throw a lot harder, have a lot different stuff. So I mean that definitely put me a step ahead of the competition around here, and I think it's definitely shown. Like, I mean, just seeing those better arms definitely prepares me the most for in game. But I've worked my tail off in the cage and the weight room and stuff like that. So I've just kind of tried to work my tail off every day and try to get better somewhat in some kind of way every day.
Absolutely. So the final two questions I got for you, and hopefully we can get you back on before the district tournament starts, because I'd like to see how you how you think your team's gelling at that point in time. But got to ask you about the new turf field. What's your thoughts?
I mean, it's beautiful, beautiful turf, and I mean, took a while to get it in. Unfortunately, I mean, had to miss some home games, and we haven't got our lights up yet, so haven't been able to play at a normal time. We started more 4:30, 5 o'clock ish, but I mean, turf is just it's the best thing you can have to me personally. I mean, it's amazing. I love turf, true hops. I mean, you get to play all the time. Uh, it's one of the best things to happen to Bell County High School, at least while I've been there. I mean, it's a dream come true for me because I can get on it anytime and just practice and work. It's awesome.
Absolutely. So the final question I got for you, and this is probably one of my favorite questions, is what would you consider your favorite all-time memory playing baseball? It can be, throwing the baseball back and forth in the living room and knocking off your mom's favorite, glass that Mark did back when we was kids, or playing at a park, playing a, varsity travel ball game, anything.
It's a tough one. Hmm. I'll say this is my most memorable moment, and probably not a good moment for me personally, but it really opened my eyes. My freshman summer, you know, high expectations for myself because I mean I didn't do bad, especially for a true freshman, but not as good as I wanted to. But I had a little bit too much confidence in myself at that point. Really hadn't grown into my own yet, and went down into Georgia, played in the Worldwood Bat tournament, picked up with a team, and we faced a kid committed to Texas. He threw 3 innings, perfect game, and he had a home run and a triple, and blew my doors away with about 92. And I was playing up, but I mean that's what I wanted to see, and I think that was a staple in how I've grown as a baseball player because from that point on, I knew what I'm doing now isn't enough. So I've got to go above and beyond what I do and what the normal person does so that I can get to where that guy was at that point in time. So I think that's probably my favorite memory just because like it motivates me to be a better baseball player. And I mean, that's that's really it.
Absolutely. Well, Cooper, like I said, I will have them graphics made up tonight, and I will get them over to you and post them on our pages. And me personally, I do want to thank you for taking the time to come on, and I'd love to have you back on again before district tournament starts. And from everything that I've seen from you, stat wise, and what your team's doing, y'all are killing it, and just keep doing what you're doing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
All right, y'all have a good night.
You too.
See ya.
See.
Great interview, Cooper. He's a well mannered young man and got his priorities straight.
Absolutely. Well, you ready for our next guest, Mark?
Yeah, she's probably not ready for us though. I mean, you've we're probably about
Feel free
35
to
to
put
half
Mark
minutes
in the
in.
headlock anytime you want to.
It is okay, I promise. I'm super
Let me
excited to
get
be on here.
let me guess. Edward told you to be on like at 8:25 or something like that. He's on
Eight
like
eight
20.
35. So I'm only about a little bit behind, but you talking about a long game, Mark? You talking about a long game? If I ain't mistaken, I'm pretty sure you've had a game Saturday that went 10 innings, I
Yeah.
believe it was, and I
We
think it
went
was like
10 innings.
3 hours.
It
It
was
was
3 hours and like 25 minutes.
Mm.
It was a very long game, very hard game.
Yeah, yes, it was. It was a back and forth battle, and it was, and they had to play in the grueling heat. I mean, that sun was just beaming down on them.
Yes, it was very hot that day. Very, very
Absolutely. So
hot.
before I get you over to Mark, I gotta get your thoughts on how your season's going at this point in time.
So I think our season's going pretty good. We have 10 wins, 9 losses. I feel like we could have done better so far, but I think we're doing really good for the path that we're going on.
Absolutely. Well, Mark,
First off, thank you for coming on, and thank you for being very patient. You know, Edward only had you back there waiting for 2.5 hours. Did he at least send you a message, apologize, or even say try to explain himself out?
He said that y'all were running 5 minutes behind, and I told him it was completely okay. I'm in no
Well,
rush.
well, his 5 minutes was like 2.5 hours. But I'm used to it. Uh, Harvey, I tell you
well, the
what.
only question is, did Mark leave any food back there in the green room? Normally he eats it all.
Oh?
Well, she's played the fifth. Uh, you know, this is Edward's show, and what normally happens at the beginning of the show, I have to do the introduction. He'd say that he's got to share all these, our YouTube and our Instagram and all that stuff. So I'm sitting here for 10 minutes by myself. Hi, I'm Mark.
Mhm.
I don't know what to say. It's not even my show. And then Edward comes. I'm like, Edward, are you back? Yeah.
Well, I sent him a transcript, and he don't even look at it and read it.
That's his story.
Oh.
That's his story. Oh,
Oh, that's a good
but
story.
but Harmony, I do want to thank you. I know this is probably coming out. We was talking about that earlier. I did something new last night that I hadn't did a little radio, and I know how nervous I was, and you're sort of probably stepping out a little bit of your comfort zone here. You probably don't know us that well. You're like,
But
who are,
I don't think she's too nervous though. You know,
well, I don't
I
think
did
she's
talk to her a
nervous.
little bit on Saturday. So
I don't think
Yeah.
she's nervous, but it does take a pretty brave soul. Like I don't even know them guys, and I'm going to get interviewed by probably two guys I don't even know here. And but thank you for stepping out of your comfort zone for us and stuff like that. Of course, you are in the 12th region. We're based more upon the 13th region. Of course, Edward reaches out more out of state, and
Um,
just just tell us a little bit about the 12th region.
so honestly, in my opinion, anybody, like, especially in our district, everybody works hard for like their team. You can tell a lot. Um, and especially like the top four for district this year, I think it could be anybody's game because everybody's worked really hard this year. And it can honestly go either way. 12th region is a pretty hard region in my opinion. I think if it comes down to it, the 4 seed could be the 1 seed. So I mean, it's honestly everybody in 12th region can do whatever. Like everybody is good and they have the confidence to do whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Looking at your schedule, it looks like you got one of our better teams out of the 13th region. Looks like you beat Jackson County twice, which is it's a good statement too, because Jackson County is really really good. I believe they went on and won Air All A in the 13th, so that's a pretty good statement win by you. And uh, of course, do you do anything off season like AAU or travel ball or anything like that?
Yes, I play travel ball. I actually got on a new travel team. I'm with Louisville Sluggers with Durkinberry, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm not very good at pronouncing. But what I've seen with them, I think they are going to help me in more ways during the summer and hopefully next season coming on.
Well, Edward's a pretty good eye about talent because Edward will come to me and like he spoke about you and it's like this girl can play and this and that. And are there any other sports? I mean, you're very athletic. Is it just softball ball only, or do you do other things?
So when I actually did, but then I had to quit them, I used to wrestle from like the ages of 12 to 14, but I had to stop because of a major injury. I actually fractured my knee, and I got so scared to the point where I thought softball was over. So I like made an ultimate decision on if to keep going, and I did not, which I think that was a very good decision in my opinion, because if I would have went on, something would have happened, and I don't want to like ruin my softball career, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Well,
So
now that makes sense why she was killing that softball every time she was up. She hit one that I still don't think it's ever came down yet. It's still flying right now. I mean, she just knocked it plumb out of here.
did she call her shot? Did she like point at the direction she was going to hit it, or
Well, you could
I
tell
don't
she
think I
wanted
called
to
that.
because she knew it was there,
Oh yeah.
so?
but
What?
now I did hear the next time she got up to bat, I did hear her say, "Oh man," because she did get intentionally walked.
I did. I got intentionally walked, and I was pretty upset, but I could see why they did it.
Well,
And he's
well,
smart.
she was upset, and she only just said, "Oh man." So that shows you restraint and professionalism. If I was upset, I would probably said way worse than "Oh man." But I'm proud of you, Harvey, for keeping it
Thank
all
you.
together. You have the wrestling background. You could have probably went got the picture. Probably, well, yeah. It could have probably got real ugly real quick. So we thank you for the restraint, dog. No, I'm just joking. Uh, look at LaRue County is another team that pops off to me here. You just played them really really close. And that's another team that man, they were both pretty high on, and you was right there with them. Uh, the and you just played like Fern Creek, I believe they're out in Louisville, ain't they?
Mhm.
And just Trinity, no, that's Trinity White Rotsville, but a couple games against Somerset here, and that schedule's crazy. And that you talk about playing all competition, you simply have. We know what your ultimate team goal is, and about halfway through the season, a little bit over half. Uh, what is it going to take for you to win your district, win the region, just win the whole daggone thing?
So I think if we keep playing how we playing and keep the confidence that we have in ourselves, because last year I think mentally all of us were down. Like we still did good, but our confidence was definitely pretty low last year, and we also had a lot of injuries. But I feel like this year we have the confidence and we have the fight and we have the want to be district winners this year.
And I don't know about you, Edward, but I always liked a trip to Casey County. I've never made a trip to watch baseball or softball, but I've made several trips to watch Casey County football. And I don't know, I just always liked that area and area. Every time I go in there, I was like, this is my type of area right here. And I know Everett's gonna ask you something. If he don't, I'm gonna ask you though. But Everett's reading my mind, so hopefully he asks you pretty soon. But Everett,
Go right ahead. I know you're itching
uh,
to ask. Go right ahead.
in your area over there in Casey County, your town, what is your most favoriteest place to eat at?
Oh, so it's a very little town
Yeah, yeah,
and we
very
don't
limited.
have much, but my
I
favorite place
figured I
to
figured he
go.
was gonna give us some little mom and pop store that's just off the charts with the home cooking and
Oh
that me
no.
and Ever just has no home cooking places or anything.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
But probably my favorite place to eat there is Lee's or Bread of Life.
Lee's.
Well, you can't go wrong with Lee's.
You
No
can't
matter
go
where
wrong.
you
You can't go
Potato
wrong.
wedges. The best potato wedges in the world. And ain't
Oh,
nobody
yeah.
even close to them.
Oh no.
What?
go.
You know it.
Everybody else sells them like them little square potato wedges. I mean, like
Yeah,
at
those
Lee's,
aren't
you get
good.
you get the real potato, that crust, and oh my God, yeah.
The crust is the best part.
Oh yeah, 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 yep. So you say the bread of life. What is it?
So it's like just a small restaurant. It's like it has a bar and it's really tiny, honestly. It's got a little bit of everything, if that makes sense. Just a little bit of every kind of food. And it's pretty
It,
good to eat at. They're pretty cheap too.
it's just like one of them country cooking places where you go there and get like fried chicken and mashed potatoes and green
Right
beans. And,
around. Right
oh yeah,
around, yeah.
see that's my type of place. I'm
Oh
not a
yeah.
Well, at
much.
least we know where we're going now.
Yeah, that's the reason why I asked her. I needed to help, for
Mm.
sure.
I would
But now
definitely go to Brother.
they got some pretty good concession stands up there too. I've always been very well pleased with the concession areas over there.
Oh yeah, our concession stands do not disappoint at
No, no.
all.
But Mark, you was talking about them playing LaRue County pretty close there while they was up there at Somerset. And Harmony, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I was actually talking to you during that game
You were.
because she had to rest that game because pitching 10 innings and knocking the ball around like she was, she'd give up the old shoulder a rest.
Oh yeah, I had to ice it for like an hour and a half.
So okay, I see where you're going here. So oh, could have been what you're trying to say. Could have been a little bit more closer.
Oh
Could have,
yeah,
should have, would
it could have.
have.
It definitely could have.
But speaking of that, so I have to ask you about the atmosphere because I was around some of the fans up there while I was at Somerset. So let me know about the atmosphere at a home game at Casey County.
So the home games at Casey tend to vary. There can be a lot of people, and then like other games, there's like very little people. But with like during big games, especially like the atmosphere is amazing. Like everybody's there, everybody's in it, and it's honestly the best like fan support we could have.
um, Ever before you go on to the next one, I gotta ask you this. Again, I've not been to one of your games, so I could not say I've not seen your field and this and that. But first thoughts about Somerset's field and that turf there.
So I really like Somerset's Field. Somerset's Field is very, very pretty in my opinion. But me personally, I really do not like turf. I would much rather dirt.
Just for the speed, or you just more comfortable with grass, or
Honestly, a little bit of both. I'm more comfortable on dirt than I am on turf because I haven't pitched along on turf, but it can I could go either way. I like them both. It's just I would prefer dirt more than turf.
Well, listen, if she pitches better on dirt than what she was doing up there on the turf, there's just no explanations. I mean,
well,
she was just throwing it. She was just throwing it left and right down the middle each time. I could barely see it then, so I definitely wouldn't be able to see it up on a dirt field. So I mean, I'm not even going up the bat. I'm just throwing the bat down.
well, I could see Harmony like being old school style. She's probably got her little stick where she's cleaning the dirt off her cleats, and probably a mouthful of sunflower seeds before she get ready to pitch.
Mhm.
No, I'm not nowhere.
Believe it or not, no.
So you don't do the sunflower seed.
Mm, they're okay. I don't eat them a lot during games. They're not my best thing to have in between games or even in games.
So this is an ongoing question before I show you a couple things we put together for you. If I'm up there pitching and I hit every batter that comes up, that's still a no hitter, right? I still pitched a no hitter that game.
I mean, if you're asking me, I think you pitched a no-hitter. I mean, nobody
Aha.
hit you. I mean, nobody
See?
hit you.
The score might not
yeah.
reflect it, but
Oh no. The score's definitely not going to reflect that. But nobody hit off of you, so it can go either way.
yeah. See, I told you, Mark.
It could go
I
either
got my
way.
game plan.
Oh, he's done ready. He's done planning for it.
See, I done got my plan right there. I'm gonna throw a no hitter. I'm hitting everybody that comes up. They'll eventually quit wanting to come up and bat. Eventually,
Eventually, they will. Yeah.
Can I? I know this sounds crazy, and you would know this firsthand. I'm talking about somebody that's really short. Could somebody really squat down? I mean, about as low as they could go, almost down to their kneecap, where there's about space like that. And would they be a strike zone at that point in time? I mean, would that be almost impossible to strike somebody out, or would the
So
strike zone still be the same?
So it really depends on the umpires and what umpire you have. Because I have had that happen a couple times, especially in travel ball, where people like to squat down because of how short they are. So varying on how tall they actually are, if they squat down, usually they'll still call it a strike because you can't make yourself shorter
Even like
in
if the
order to.
ball's going like this by them, they can still call it a strike, or does it?
I mean,
So
if it's
you're
up here,
eliminate.
probably not.
So, I mean, if they're squatting so down, I mean, you can't keep it at the knees and chest, then can you? I mean, so then.
Probably not. I mean,
So
but then again, like I said, it's really based on what the umpire calls. But usually, if someone like squats down while they're hitting, they usually still call it a strike where the normal strike zone would be.
okay.
I say they get too low down. Just always take my approach. Just hit them.
No, we can't be hitting people on purpose.
Edwards a violent.
It's
Edwards a
not
violent
on. It's
guy.
not on purpose if you accidentally throw a curveball the wrong direction.
Harmony.
Very true.
Edward gets to talk about hitting people when he don't get his dose of Taco Bell. It starts messing with him. He goes to Taco
Mhm.
Bell DTs. He starts shaking. He starts Taco Bell, Taco Bell. In about an hour, and he'll have to run to Taco Bell.
Oh, I'm sure. Taco Bell's really good. You can never go wrong with Taco
It's
Bell.
it's about Taco Bell snack time according to my watch.
Oh, so Taco Bell does sound pretty good right now.
It does. So we do tend to put together a couple graphics for each student athlete that comes on our show. So I am in the process of trying to make a third one in replace of one that we had retired. So I am going to work that one up for you too, but it'll probably be this weekend before I can get all the kinks worked out in it.
Did you tell Harmony the story of the second graph, or can I?
Oh.
Well, you can tell her.
It was a graph that we was having student athletes come on their show and vote on. Everybody was always, I like the first one and third. I like the first one and third one. It was like a batting average of 1 for 178. The batting average was 0.0001. Nobody was ever picking the second one. I was like, and of course we decided to eliminate it. And I was like, Edward, should we do it the right way? We should bury this graphic. So if you know what Edward did, he just threw it in the garbage can. Threw it in the
Oh my
garbage.
goodness.
Yeah, that's how mean this guy is. He's all mean.
Ooh, I don't think so. I think
That's
he's
what
pretty nice.
that's what you call tough love.
Oh yeah, tough
Harvey,
love.
what would you have did with this graphic? Would you have retired it the right way, or would you have did Edward and just threw it out in the yard?
I probably would have done what Edward done and just throw it on the yard.
Aha. See?
I probably would have done the same thing.
So the two graphics we got right now, that's graphics that we make to say thank you for taking your time to come on and listen to Mark ramble on. He gives me a headache all the time. So
Oh well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be on here. I'm forever grateful.
hey, listen, we'll have you back on all the time. I mean,
Yeah,
it's been a blast.
yeah,
Oh, it has been.
yeah. We don't know a thing about the sport. That's the reason why we talk about food and hair. Luckily, we've not asked about our hair and all the other stuff yet.
Well, Ryan's not on here, so we can't ask the hair because he's the only one that's got hair.
Harmony's got
Oh,
some. Harmony's got some good hair going on there. I think she's got the braids going, the braid
oh
action
yeah.
there. I
Yeah,
can't.
I
Not the
tried to
best
braid
way.
mine, but it didn't work.
I see it.
So, out of these two graphics, we're gonna let her be the first one to actually do a pick
Oh,
between the two.
oh, I'm excited.
Oh, is this a new one?
But she's gonna be the first one that gets the new one, but she's
Okay.
also the first one that gets to vote between which one of these two she likes the best.
Okay.
There's always been three, so everybody's got to pick two. This time it's down to one.
Yeah, since you
Oh,
threw the
I'm
other one in the
nervous.
yard. Threw the other one
Oh,
in the
she's
yard.
Lord.
Yeah, I
Well,
So
I'm
this
super
one right
excited
here,
to see one.
the first one is the OG one, the one that we've done since all sports has started. The second one is kind of the more newer one that I just kind of like spice things up a little bit. So
Ah. Oh, I really like it. That looks really good. Oh my gosh. They're both so good. I
so out of
appreciate y'all
those
so much
two,
for even doing it.
which one do you like better?
Ooh, that's a really hard decision. They both look really good. But if I had to pick, probably the second one. The second one looks really good.
That's
I,
kind of
I
I
like to laugh at
expected that
this
one. Well, the other one I'm working on, and it's taking me a minute. It's got a lot of smoke and mirrors getting involved in it too. So
Oh.
yeah, it's a handful.
Well, I will be super grateful for which all of them you give me, honestly. I'm grateful that you even made them.
Oh, listen, that's not the end of the story yet either. So,
Oh, there's more to the story.
oh yes, now, this is kind of again my way of saying thank you for coming on. So, any milestone you hit, any record you break, anything that you think you'd like to be promoted for, like 5 home runs in a single season, which I think you might be one, maybe two away from, maybe right now. So anything that you hit, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'd be more than gladly to make up some kind of graphic to be able to try to promote you and put you out there. So anything that I can do to help you, please feel free to reach out to me.
I will. Thank you so much for that.
Harmony,
It
what it
really does
takes.
mean a lot.
It takes people. It takes media. It takes people to get your product out there for schools to see, and the more we can promote you, the better off you're going to be on down the road about your offers when they start flying in. So So just let us do that for you. And the only thing we ask in return is when you start making the big bucks, you're gonna need somebody mowing your grass and weed eating and
Oh
stuff like
yeah.
that. Uh, Edward can run a mean weed eater. Buy me a brand new zero turn mower, maybe with a fan. Hit me, and we'll cut your grass all the time.
How come I got to
Y'all will be the
operate the
first
weed
people
eater?
I call.
But Harvey's gonna put a fan on my mower too. She
I'll buy you a fan. Custom
thank
fan.
thank you.
You're welcome.
A little extreme. So the final question I got for you is, what would you consider your all-time favorite memory? It can be throwing the softball in your living room, knocking off your parents' favorite glass, like Mark did when we was a little kid. It can be playing at a park, backyard, travel ball, varsity. It could be that one time you threw the softball up and hit one of the fans at a softball game, which Mark did.
Oh, so
Oh,
my
only thing
favorite
I did,
softball memory.
the only thing I did on my graduation was, I will warn you ahead of time. Throw your hat straight up. Don't them things will fly like a frisbee. Don't do like that to the stands because you might hit somebody between the eyes with it.
And I would not want to do that. So my favorite softball memory would probably be last year, or actually that would be my 8th grade year when we beat PC for the first time. We beat them 12-1. That game was, in my opinion, probably one of the hardest games mentally and physically, because my 8th grade year I was battling with a knee injury. But that's probably my favorite memory. We had so much fun that game, and I could tell you every detail to like how that game went, and especially like down to the last inning. We were all in it the whole time. So that one's probably my favorite softball memory is beating PC.
Well, I would
Coach,
tell you my favorite softball memory, but I haven't been able to throw one. So,
Coach Brown said, "Great interview. Good luck on the rest of the season, Harmony." He's
Thank
a
you.
real good man, head coach at Whitley Middle, and just a great leader of a bunch of young ladies too. And
Oh
you
yeah.
would like you would like Coach Brown.
Oh, I'm sure I would. I hear a lot of good things about Coach Brown.
so you know, for everything that I personally seen, firsthand at the game, from the stats that I look up, because I'm a big stat guru. So I tend to travel back as many years as KHSAA will let me and look up stats all the time. So from what I've seen, you're killing it. Your team's definitely improving day in, day out, and y'all have been killing it. So please feel free to reach out to me over anything, because I'd love to put you out there as much as possible, and just keep doing what you're doing.
All right. Thank you so much for having me on here again.
Thank you.
You all have a good night.
You too.
You too. Well,
Great.
that was another great interview. We are a few minutes past our norm,
That was your
but that's
fault.
all good.
That was your
That's your
fault.
fault. But Mark, you got any final thoughts before we close off tonight?
Uh, no, nothing inspirational. I guess we're getting into the grind of the season right now, and um, seeing a lot of good teams and watching a lot of good softball, a lot of good baseball. Big shout out again to Coach Brown and what he's doing at Whitley, and cannot give enough love to that bunch. And just, I'm telling you, folks, to our viewers, go to a Whitley Middle game and then come back and tell me that that's just a bunch that you just have to love automatically. And can't say enough good about them. And thank you, Coach Brown, for all the support that you've shown us. And just we're in the grind in it right now. Before you know it, it's going to be district time. they read the time, and then here we go. We're gonna be into that that month of where we really what they call it. I'm right top of my tongue, but where
Talking about the dead period month.
yeah, the dead period. And it's right here, but it's never a dead period for us. We'll still do our shows, but time flies when you're having fun. And Edward, you get out, you kill yourself. You do really good with these going out covering these games. Ryan does his stuff, and I'm the old lazy one, but I appreciate both of you.
Absolutely. Well, I'm gonna leave you like I normally do, but first off, a big shout out to all of our followers and friends and family. I don't even know if I want to. I ain't even gonna call them followers now. I'm just gonna call them family. From everybody that watches us week in, week out, and has followed our pages. But the fast pitch page did officially hit over 1,000 today, and again, I do want to give a big shout out. If you haven't had a chance to go check it out, please get on. Please go to Facebook and look up Nevaeh Photography and look up at all the great, pictures she takes. She is also a student athlete, her own. She plays basketball and volleyball, if I'm not mistaken, and she is a phenomenal athlete. But she also takes outstanding pictures, also. So, and I do thank her for allowing me to use a couple of the photos she just sent me to be able to make Cooper his graphics I'm getting ready to make right here in a minute. But we'll leave you like this. Go out and cover these student athletes. We had 2 on today. Both of them puts their heart and soul, their blood, sweat, and tears into the game. They love every bit of it, and they would love to do nothing more than you all show up and watch them perform at doing what they love to do. Show up, go to your local school, go to whichever team that you support. Just be there in the stands, and let these student athletes see their stands, their bleachers, their stadiums, packed, standing room only. That they'd love to see that. So go out and give these student athletes a little bit of coverage. And but from everybody here at the Bryant Family Medicine All Sports Media, we want to tell you good night and God bless.